Hi. One of the main things I want to talk to you about today is spinal extension. We teach a lot of seminars to the general public and also the gym members. And about 90% of the people that we get in don't really have the ability to extend the spine, mainly because they're sitting at a computer all day like this. And a lot of people go to like spinning classes and they do crunches and they do everything else. And that just reinforces this pattern. So when we bring people into the gym, spinal extension is one of the main things that they don't seem to be able to do. Now a lot of our seminars are about an hour long. So a lot of times if you look at the pictures and the video that we take, you'll see that people in the seminar have a rounded spine. Well, that's not because we're teaching them to use a rounded spine. We're actually teaching them not to use a rounded spine. But your average person who comes in is going to take a lot more than an hour to get that pattern down. Now it doesn't matter if we're talking about basic barbell squats, if we're talking about deadlifts or bench press, or pretty much anything else. The ability to extend the spine and hold it in this position while you exercise is just fundamental. It's just one of the most important basic cues that you can have. Now the reason that we want to do this is we're trying A, to protect people's backs, and B, we want them to use more muscle because we're building muscle. So the thing is, when you extend the spine, what you're doing is you're flexing your spinal erectors. You're making your spine more erect. Okay? And what that means is that you're using those muscles. You're also causing your lats to flare, and that lats are the big muscles on the side of the back. And what that does is that causes a really stable back. And that means you've got the stress of the exercise on the muscles. Now, if you don't do that and you just round the back, now any weight that you use isn't on the muscles, it's on the connective tissue of the spine. And your spine is just this column of bones stacked one on top of the other, and it's not really meant to hold weight in a rounded position like this. And this is why a lot of people say, well, the exercise hurts their back and all. Well, that's because they're not extending the spine and contracting the lats and the spinal erectors. Okay, so how do you go about training that? I'm going to give you two movements today that I'm going to recommend that you start doing as a warm-up probably every single time you come into the gym. And the first one's going to be a deadlift static hold. And it doesn't matter if you do it with the kettlebells or you can do it with a barbell with some weights on the end. And it doesn't really matter how many weights or how much weight you have on the barbell. You're not going to be picking it up. So it doesn't really matter. Just put something on there that you won't be able to lift off. So what you're going to do is you're going to get into a good deadlift position. And you're going to grab the kettlebells or the barbell. And what I want to see here is I just want to see a person get into an extended spine position, flex against that, and just hold it like this. So you're going to flare the lats. You're going to keep it here for 7 to 10 seconds. Then you're going to relax. I'd like to see people do this like at least 4 or 5 sets of 7 to 10 seconds. So they really get in touch with that contracted position. Okay? You've got to be able to hold that position while you're moving, but if you can't hold it while you're not moving, then there's no point in talking about holding it while you're moving. And a lot of people can't seem to they don't seem to have the muscular endurance to just hold it in that position. And that's what the static hold is designed to build. Now, once you've got that pattern down and you're able to really tense and tighten, you can also try working that into your squat pattern. We're going to do that by using just a simple stick. Once you get used to this, using it with just the barbell is a good idea. So what we want to do is put the stick of the barbell behind your back, and we want to fight that natural inclination that people have to do this with the rounded back and the hips under. What we're going to do is we're going to extend the spine a little bit. Then we're going to get the good squat position and just squat down, flexing and pulling the bar to the back. Now for this, I'm going to recommend that people look forward a little bit rather than down. I notice that when people look down, they have a tendency around the back. And it's the same thing with the deadlift. I don't necessarily teach a neutral neck because what I found in a lot of beginners is that if you teach the neutral neck, what will happen is the back will come out. So I actually teach them to look up when we do the deadlift a little bit, because that gets the spine flat. Now, I know a lot of trainers and coaches will tell you to be worried about hyperextension. Now, if people are hyperextending, you want them to correct that pattern. I'm not telling people to hyperextend. However, in all my years of training the general public, I've got to tell you, the vast majority of people, what they think is a hyperextension is actually just their spine in neutral position. They're in such a slumped over position all the time that when you get them flexed with an extended spine, they'll feel like it's a bow shooting an arrow, but actually it isn't. It's just because that's so uncharacteristic of what they do all day that this feels like hyperextension to them when actually it's just neutral position. But if they are actually going into hyperextension, then that's something we definitely wouldn't want to see, and we want to correct that. Okay, hope you found this video useful. Thanks.